game has got you through 2020? Because obviously 2020 is just finished. And I don't know if anyone noticed, there was quite a lot of crap happening in 2020.
I think it's 2020 part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
2020 new game plus.
We need recommendations to get us through the next year. So what game has got you through the last year, Alex?
Okay, well, I could probably, I have like a chronological list. It won't take too long because I haven't played that many. But I guess on the cusp of lockdown, so sort of late March, I finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which was actually a really great game. And I started working from home in sort of the final week of that game, which was nice because I could just play it and then come up, like kind of stop working and then go straight on to the game, which was quite nice. I guess a lot of the games I've played since then have either been, oh, thank you, that's a lovely screenshot. That was mid-battle. A lot of the games I've played since then have kind of been games I've already started but hadn't quite finished, so I guess I was just tidying up and finishing off, getting the platinum trophies, things like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is a little bit of an older Assassin's Creed, but there was one trophy I never got, so I managed to do that just recently. I also went back into Spyro, the reignited trilogy, I think is the title. So I guess kind of nostalgic games in that respect, and then also some more social games where I could actually chat to people who I hadn't seen in forever. Things like Star Wars Battlefront and, Fall Guys being the phenomenon that it has been in late 2020 as well. That's pretty much my whole year. It's just kind of either social stuff or older games, kind of, I guess in a way, remembering times before the pandemic, games that I started before this time and have now finished. So, yeah.
I like that idea. That I swear I've been doing similar things, and I've mentioned before that there is genuinely research that shows that when it comes to gaming, generally speaking, women prefer games where they can get achievements, where they can complete things, where there's a list of things to do, whereas men prefer gaming that means that there is a ranking that they can come at the top of and be at the top of things. Now, obviously, not all men, not all women will fit into that, but there is some sort of, and again, it's those gender expectations of society. But I have definitely been trying to complete some games that I haven't finished and get achievements that I haven't, because I love having an 100% achievement in a game.
Talking of very quickly, gendered, I was saying how this is a place where none of us have to fit our gendered norms. And Alex, you were saying about your Tomb Raider pajamas in the men's section.
Yes.
I am wearing women's pink, the fluffiest slippers you could ever get.
They look so comfy.
Unreal. So yeah, nothing to do with gaming, but
no, I always up for people wearing their slippers, but mine are not. I've got new ones on the way in the post. But I'm moving on. The chat, by the way, has gone very excited about
it's great.
What games we want for 2020. Jem, you've got some kindred spirits in there, I think. But Jem,
I have been keeping an eye on the chat, actually. So yeah, I'm feeling amongst friends.
This one possibly jumping out at you?
Yes, Animal Crossing has definitely got me through this year. It's so cute and so innocent and sweet. I bought it because
here for you as well.
Oh, that's me sitting in my lounge. That was earlier in this year with my with my diffuser. I do actually change my outfit quite regularly, so I guess maybe there is some gender stuff going on in there. But I really liked it. I bought it because I wanted to play it with my daughter, my tween, and she does dip in and out of it, but mostly she just finds it boring. I think I like to just potter around, and I think what's so lovely about it is that it's such a harmless game, and it's such a quiet game. And I remember reading a review where they said it forces you to slow down, and it does do that, because you just can't. There's nothing to do. There's no killing. There's barely any quests. There's just pottering about and having silly little conversations with funny little animal creatures. It's a very strange world, but it's lovely, and there is a social aspect to it, but I haven't really got into that side of things very much. I've kind of juxtaposed that world with Pillars of Eternity, Dead Fire, which I also saw came up in the chat. So yeah, that's there is a lot of killing in that. There's a lot of hacking in that.
I want to be on.
It's a really dark image.
I don't know the whole screen either. It's ruined my whole aesthetic. But you know,
I'm sorry. It was because I did get a very wide screen for my birthday back in March. So yeah, but I really like that because that's the RPG side of things, and that's the the whole kind of fantasy world. I love those worlds where you can just enjoy the scenery. And I mean, actually looking at the screenshots that you were showing earlier, I'm really kind of like, I'm just making a mental list of all the games that I want to play.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to
everything else.
See Alex's photos.
But I also,
sorry.
I also wanted to I just also wanted to give a nod to Just Dance, which has also helped me through 2020 because my daughter has spent a lot of time doing that, and it's been a really good way for her to keep active and to game. And finally, my husband is Swedish, and he told me how to pronounce this, but I'm going to get it wrong, so I'm not even going to try. But I played been playing a bit of DoD with him and a friend who's over in Sweden online, which is Dragons and Demons, and that's been really nice as well. So that's really got me through the year actually, and on many levels.
Yeah, future nod. We are going to talk about board games and pen and paper RPGs as well. We are not just about computer gaming. We're an inclusive intersectional gamer group. We include everybody. Matt, what's been your game of not your game of 2020, but your game that's got you through 2020?
So I think I sent you a few pictures. You got access to them? Yeah, they're on the Google Drive.
Oh well, this is some poor online planning here because I keep talking and I'll get them up.
Okay, I'll fill time. So I'll start off with the ones that I forgot to add pictures for. So I don't know, have any of you played XCOM?
I know of it, but I've never played it.
I loved it, but it kicked my ass for a long time because you have to be extremely strategic with everything. And I take a very blunt, toxic male approach to games over time. I just try and go through. And that obviously does not work with XCOM. I spent a very long time doing that. Start of the year, Death Stranding, hundreds of hours going through this beautiful wasteland of the future, being a courier. And I am a food delivery driver in a pandemic, so it's literally my life story. I've dipped my toe into Warhammer with a game called Warhammer Mechanicus, which was just some of the best writing. Warhammer has some of the best writing in gaming. Really, I think, Jem, you were saying about your text-based games that you play that you could just see. And whenever I read anything in Warhammer, I see this universe of endless war. That's the kind of power that has. Lately, you got any luck with
I have got. I'm like, which one do you want me to show first?
So if you show the Ghost of Tsushima ones,
I think I know which ones those are.
They're the ones with the most stunningly beautiful backgrounds.
Hold on, I just thought there's the stages here, but there we go. That's that one.
That's a game called Darksiders. She is Fury, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And so she's the only woman of them. And she has the most men perspective. That's really fun. I think, Alex, you'll probably like that because it's basically the same like gaming loop as in Jedi Fallen Order.
All right, yeah.
That's probably fun.
Then looking for these pictures.
Oh,
Yes.
when you look at that, isn't that just jaw dropping? That is.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that. Is that who's on your wall, Matt?
It is. You can.
Yeah.
Kratos. And can you put the one that you just had back on up there with the swords swinging?
I can indeed.
what you were saying about men and their thrusting, penetrative visualism in gaming. I think that's quite apparent with Kratos. And then most recently, Cyberpunk. So I think you'll be able to tell which ones are the Cyberpunk ones.
Not that one.
No, not that one.
I might really managed to get those guys, so sorry, you're just going to have to. But I understand. So Cyberpunk. I have a topical Cyberpunk point. Apparently, there's a mod that now stops the lesbian being a lesbian anymore and means that men can romance. So there's been a lot of controversy around Cyberpunk in general. Are you still a fan at the end of the day, Cyberpunk-wise?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. Can you see the glitchy photos at the bottom of the page?
Everyone, this is great TV now.
Great TV.
I'm just saying, this is why you shouldn't have your host doing the technical stuff at the same time. Oh, yeah, I have. Right, okay. So yeah, because there are still a lot of problems with Cyberpunk.
But overall, the game, getting rid of all of the technical stuff, it's a lovely game. Really wonderful game. It's not of the same like groundbreaking stuff as The Witcher, but so that's if you run too fast towards anywhere, that's what happens.
It's melting.
Yeah. And so it's PS1 version. That's why the main reason I wanted to show God of War, that came out 2 years ago, and Cyberpunk, which has been in development for 8 years. And I'll close it off with my game of the year, which is this one, The Last of Us Part 2. And this is something which I won't go into massive detail about.
No, don't, because I haven't played it yet.
I've whispered on for quite a bit because this is really big. But it really has changed me. It's changed my life. That game has, and I think it's probably the most powerful example I've seen of what happens when you just take diversity and intersectionality as a given and then create from there, and it's really massively impacted my life, and I hope that everyone can play it so that we can really do. I could deep dive. I could talk for hours and hours and hours about it. So
I have to play Cyberpunk so we can talk about it. Fair enough. Okay. No,
play The Last of Us first.
I mean, we've got this lovely comment from Anya, and I'm going to come back to your other comment, Anya, in a second about the fact that you can play as intersex and Cyberpunk. And obviously that's been a controversy. Basically, some people in COD got pissed off that you could choose to be non-binary. And it's like, just don't be non-binary if you don't want to be non-binary. But anyway.
The funniest thing about that was that there was one glitch where you choose your genitalia, but then the glitch means that when you're in the game, it gives you different genitalia. People who that happens with going, how do I change this? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, missed the point. We can discuss that later further. So I just to get my own 5 cents in, my game that's got me through 2020, and I've mentioned both of them tonight, and both of them are silly, is Rust and Stardew Valley. And a lot of people would see Rust and Stardew Valley as being very different games. But, without going on for too long, there is essentially, at the end of the day, you're farming, you're gathering wood, you are collecting resources, building your own little space. All right, the consequences in Stardew Valley are 0. So when it's a tough day, I'm just going to play Stardew. It's a safe world where nothing can go wrong. It doesn't matter. Even if I don't make it out to feed the cat, it's not going to be the end of the world.
The cat won't die.
But when I really want a challenge, then suddenly Rust, again, toxic community, make sure you go on the right community servers. But, Rust can provide some of the most exhilarating adrenaline moments of any gaming I have ever had. The fact that you can be inside your base and knowing there is someone outside and you can hear their voice and they are working out how to break into the thing that you built, and you are working out how to repair the thing that you built or how to get out there. It's some of the most exciting, tense moments ever, and it's some of the best escapism I've had all year. So I will continue to defend Rust as much as the Rust. I will not defend the Rust community, but I will defend the game Rust, which again, though, as well as you say, Matt, one of the brilliant things about Rust is that you are given an avatar when you start playing Rust. You are male, female, black or white, varying things like that. And that is it. You can't change it. There is no modifying of it. And it's one of the things that a lot of the Rust community have bitched about for years and say, oh, I don't want to be a woman, etc. And but that's the beauty of it, is that it's like, this is the life you're given, mate. Accept it, and you just have to get on with it.